Hi. So literally, I've just pushed live and then Jessie's just knocked on the door to go make me let her in. So I'll be right back. Come on, hurry. Come on. Okay, now go lay down. No, go take your bone and lay down. Okay, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was. How is everyone? I'm so excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like way too excited. So I just want to say hi and thank you. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, I'm just logging in on my iPad so that I don't miss any of the questions if there's any questions. So today we're gonna get started straight into stitching. We're gonna be doing these 3 flowers here. The same thing that I say before every pattern, every stitch along, every live video is just try your best. Like, just because I do it a certain way doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. Do it the best that you can. And don't compare yourself to all the other people who are doing it. Just do your best and have a good time. So that's what it's about. Yeah? So we're going to be doing these 3 today. We'll do a detached chain stitch for all of the petals, and then we'll do some straight little stitches that go inside the detached chain stitch. And that will kind of fill it in more. So if you remember this one, this is what's going to look like in the end. And I'll just get started. So I'm thinking either bright or muted. I think I might go, what do you guys think? I might go bright. I'm going to do it. Okay, so we're going to use all 6 strands. Take a length. You don't want it too long because then you're going to have a mess. And I like to put a little knot at the end of mine. Some people don't like to put knots on there. Some people just hold the end underneath when they start stitching, and then they'll do it a little bit later. But I'm a fan of the knot, so it's up to you. All right, so after you've got your needle all prepared, we're gonna do the outside ring first, and then fill it in. Then we'll do the inside ring, and then fill it in. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Meg says bright, so I know I've chosen the correct one. So you're going to come up from the back like this. Hi. And you're going to, normally with the detached chain stitch, when we do all of our leaves, we always come up and come down at a point like this because we want to make a loop around. So we always go down in the same point. For this one, we're going to make them open. So you're not going to come down here. You're going to come down over here to make an open kind of U shape. So remember to leave your loop like that, and then come up in the middle of the loop. Can everyone see okay? I've got it a little bit set up differently than before. And then you're going to come down just on the other side of your loop like that. So you've made one. And you're just going to do that for all of the little petals. So again, come up, come down a ways away, leave your loop. Turn the music down a little bit. And then pull it like that. Not too tight because you don't want to have it to be like a straight, like a V like this. You want it to be kind of curved. Using my fingers as a prop. And then down just on the other side. So as always, if you have any questions, leave them. And I'm happy to answer. Okay, love. I'll Love You Design says, I messaged you, but I'm off to bed. No rush in getting back to me. I will get back right after this. Right after the live video. As always, all of the Instagram lives will be available for 24 hours. And then after that, you can find them on YouTube. And if you search for The Barmy Fox on YouTube, you'll find... Oh, thanks, love. She says, you're amazing. I can't wait to watch you all night. Oh, thank you. Honestly, though, if it wasn't for you guys doing it and always buying the patterns and always being so encouraging, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do this. So just thank you. So we're going to do all around the outside first. And you notice I've like switched because before I was coming down here and now I'm coming down on the other side. It doesn't matter. You can go down or come up whichever way. You're just making the open chain stitches. I think because of the, what's it called? The stand for my phone. I have to be careful or else you guys get like motion sickness. So she said, okay, so I've been embroidering for over 5 years and that's not how I do my needle. And now I'm worried I'm wrong. So I basically make the thread into a big loop. So the needle goes into the middle of the threads and then I tie the 2 thread ends. You can totally do that. That's absolutely fine. So some people, so what she's saying is instead of making a tail like this, I think, she's saying that she takes 3 strands and doubles it, yeah? So it makes 6 and then ties a knot at the end so that actually your needle cannot come off because it's a big loop. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, so that's just personal preference. If that's how you want to do it, that's totally how you can do it. I know some people also will, like how you explained it, but do it the other way around. So they have the loop at the bottom and then the 2 tails at the top. I think I'll just have to show you because it's going to sound crazy. So some people will do it like, I think it's like a cross stitchers, a loop or something. So some people will do it like she's just said. So she's saying that she pulls it all the way through. Discussion. So she pulls it all the way through like this. So to make 6 strands, she uses 3 and then doubles it like this. So that at the end she has a loop. And then I'm just going to show you all the way at the other end, she has her knot like that. And I know some people will do it the other way. So they'll make the loop like this at the end. Then they'll put both of these through the end. And actually this is genius because it makes it so there's no knots on the back. Let's see if I can do this with 12 threads. Win. Okay, so some people do it like this as well. So you've got a tail here, but on this end is a loop. So get out of here. So when you go up, yeah, you leave the loop, and your next stitch will go through the loop. Too many threads, like that. And then there's no knots on the back. Does that make sense? So you still have a tail, but you have 0 knots because you've gone through what you've already done. So like, I made it too tight. So you could continue stitching. Like that. Oh my God, I made it too tight. So on the back, there's no knot. And Tasha just said this method of starting is great for stitching on clothing because then you won't have a knot that could get worked out loose in the wash. Exactly. So if you're going to do like a bag, or if you're going to do clothing, like a jacket or shirt, something like that, this is like perfect. But yeah, and there's no right or wrong way at all. You just choose what works best for you. Some people don't like to separate the stitches, so I'm using all 6 strands. Well, this one I doubled to use 12, but some people don't like to separate them. So instead of just pulling the thread off the skein, I think it's called, instead of just pulling it off and using it, she would pull it off and separate 3, then fold it in half, and then start. So it's really just, it's personal preference, whatever you feel like doing. There's no right or wrong way. And that's something that I think I like to reinforce a lot, because people will do things a little bit differently, and that doesn't mean that they're right or wrong, or that you're doing yours wrong. It just means that they're doing it differently to how you're doing it. So don't be like, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong for all of these years. Like, no, you're completely fine. If it works for you, then it works. Don't change it. I know she also said that how do I don't pull it out every time, pull it through. So when I hold it, I normally hold the needle and the thread like that. So yeah, learning. And it's the same with like needle sizes, different threads. People have different preferences, and that's totally fine. Like that's what makes it interesting, because no one's going to have the same setup or use the same tools. Like I'm using needles that I got a box at a vintage store, like an antique shop, and it was an old sewing box, and just by chance I said, oh, this is quite cute. I'm going to get it. So I got it, and inside was a ton of stuff, like knitting needles. There was like a brand new manicure kit from like 1970. There was a bunch of buttons. There was a lot of thread from an old shop in England that's not even open yet, or not even open anymore. And a shit ton of needles. There's so many needles. So whenever someone says, what needle do you use? I want to buy the exact same one. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't, because it's from that craft box. So it doesn't have a huge eye, but it fits the threads through. It's pointy on the end. It works. Use what you have. And I've used the same needle. So I've been stitching since maybe 2014. And I've used the same one since I started. Some people can't stand it. Some people, they have to use a new one like for every project because they don't like how it feels. But not me. Right, so I finished the outside after faffing about for a while. I finished the outside, so I'm just gonna make a knot and do a little cut, because I don't like to work on the stand with hoops trailing down. So the next part is we're going to take a contrasting color. You could use the same color if you want, but I'm going to use a contrasting one so that you can see where the stitches go and stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to make little stitches in the middle to fill up the inside of each of these little petals. That 12, showing you those, how to start, made a huge hole in my fabric. Okay. So again, start your needle, do a knot at the end if you want to, or you can do one of the other two ways. It's up to you. And we're just going to make some straight stitches from the middle to the end. And sometimes one stitch will do it. Sometimes you might have to do two. So maybe I can zoom in. Let's see here. And I'll just move it so you can see. If you have a smaller hoop, so this is an 8-inch hoop, so I'm using all 6 strands to make it a bit more bulky. Oh, I think my music just stopped. But if you're using a smaller hoop, like a 6-inch or a 7-inch, you might want to split these in half. So use only 3 strands. And then for the next layer of, I used a pink, but it looks quite red in this video. For the next layer of the pink, we're going to do the detached chain stitches right over the ones that we made, so it has a nice layering effect. And again, you might need to do 2 stitches. You might just need to do 1. Use your own discretion. On the practice one, I used a 6-inch hoop and 3 strands. And I'll show you when I'm finished how they look side by side. Right, so is anyone stitching along, or are you watching and then stitching later? What's going on? My hoop has a hole in it, I think. I should have taped it. Or I'm pulling too hard. Hello! Some extra people have joined. Tasha's painting while she watches. Oh, that's so nice. Meg is stitching along. That's why she says she's quiet. Tash says, I'm not painting your design though. You could if you wanted to. It might be quite fun. Dawn says she's stitching. I cannot wait to see them. I'm just going to go back and do one more here. And maybe one more. I thought I saw another one. This one. Okay, So that's all finished. So I'm gonna go back to the pink, which it is pink, promise. Some people like to knot the back. Like I said, some people like to leave all the threads hanging and they do it all later at a different date when they're finished or when they feel like it. That's fine too. It's really up to you. I like to just do simple, knot at the end. Sometimes I'll take the end of the thread and just thread it around like this a couple times. But I don't like the threads showing through, so if you've seen the other ones, it's a real pet peeve of mine when you see on the back threads that show through. If I can grab it. So like this, if you see, you can see on the top, it's like, I really don't like it. So I always try to hide my threads or tuck them in. Right, are we ready for the next bit? This time we're going to do exactly the same, except they're not going to be so open. So the first time around, we've left them open so there's a big space. This time around, we're going to keep them closed. So you're going to go up in the center and you're going to go back down like right next to it. Keep your loop. And these ones you're going to lay right on top like this. And go down in the stitches that we just made. And obviously, like, I've drawn a lot of them on here, so there's maybe 8 or 9 or 10, I don't know, I didn't count. But you might not make 8 or 9 or 10 stitches. It just depends on how many fit. Because of the threads, because of how many threads that you use, that will all determine how many are gonna fit in there. Stitch is gonna stitch joined. First video and I've already hit the camera. Good, nice start. Hi, how are you? I love that sound of the needle going through the fabric. Oh, it's so good. She says, I'm good, thank you. You? I am good. I'm so excited. You have no idea. This morning I was like freaking out, couldn't sleep in. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Today is the day. Using the stand and having the camera here makes it go so slow for me. Also, this hoop has a hole in it. I think I can fit 2 more in. One more. Let's try. Okay, so we have that done so far. Let me just do a knot on the end. Do a little snip. And then we're gonna go back with the same color we did before, which I used this light orange. Oops. I caught all my other. Now, this is going to be a personal preference. So some people might, because there's not much space in there. Some people don't like the look of kind of thick, bulky threads that are all kind of bunched up. Some people do, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it as 6. So I'm not gonna split it at all. My thread has different ideas though, because there's like a knot in the middle. So I'll just chop it off. Anyone else just talk to themselves like this while they're stitching, like in their head or aloud? Because I definitely do. Right, so with this one, you're gonna go up from the middle and just do one little stitch for each one. Just like that. You can also go up from the top if you feel like the middle is maybe a bit too congested, like there's too many stitches in there. Meg says yes all the time. Thank God it's not just me. Sometimes I'll say something and Jessie will look like, what? Really? Why are you talking to yourself? This hoop is driving me mad. She says, I love this style of flower. Me too. I think it's quite cute. And different, you know? You can do the colors the same if you don't want to have the contrasting look to it. Or you can make them different, or you can make them similar. So you do not have to hold your fabric like I'm holding mine here. It's only because there seems to be a gap. See how I can push my finger down? There seems to be a gap here. So I am holding it so that it's nice and tight, so that when I put it in a new hoop, the fabric won't be puckered. That's another one. Make sure your hoops are tight. You don't want any gappy hoops. Having this kind of like that. Can you see? No good. I did show yesterday how to fix it. So you can fix it with just some washi tape or regular tape, painter's tape even. Or you can do some strips of cloth and you can wrap the inside hoop. That works too. Right, so there's one flower done. So that's obviously the biggest of the 3 flowers. I tried to make one quite big and then the other a little bit smaller, to show just a little bit of dimension. But you can see how this is the 6 strands, and then here is 3 strands. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit and then you can see better maybe. So they are very similar, but this one's just a little bit more fine. And again, it's just personal preference, whatever you feel like. If you think this looks a bit too bulky or too many threads or too thick, then definitely use 3 or use 4. It'll give you a little bit of a, I don't know, finer look to it. You know, get some more details in there. So yeah, do you guys have any questions about this flower? I'm not going to do all 3 only because the Instagram lives are only an hour. So I've done 30 minutes so far. I might get a start on one of them. And then if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in chat. Yeah? But I don't want to take up like all of your time, like an hour every day. It's quite a bit. I mean, I happily will talk all day. But again, it's going to be using exactly the same technique for this one and this one. So you're just going to do the detached chain stitch all the way around, and then fill, and then chain stitch, and then fill. Questions? No questions? Also, don't forget to post your progress. You can do it in your stories or on your grid. It's up to you. And I'll try to repost as many as I can every day. Monday to Friday, because Saturdays and Sundays, you guys voted that you would like to have those days off. So Saturdays and Sundays can be like a catch-up day. So if you don't have time during the week, or if you don't feel like it, then you can absolutely skip a day and go watch the video on YouTube instead. If that suits your fancy. Got a little crazy. So if you notice, this time around, I'm not doing a different stitch every day. So sometimes we will do different stitches. Sometimes we will do the same stitch, but we're doing it more as a complete the pattern. So instead of doing all the satin stitches or all of the chain stitches, we're going to complete it a little bit each day. So we might do chain stitch twice in a row or satin stitch twice in a row. And there we go. It really doesn't take that long to do kind of the outsides. If you wanted to do this outside and this outside, you can do them both at the same time. So I would definitely cut your thread and then start a new knot and then start over here, just because you really don't want You really don't want to see that line. Stitch is gonna stitch. Everyone seems quiet today. I know, right? I feel like I'm talking to myself. Literally. But hey ho, it's all right. You guys know I will happily chat for an entire hour if it was, if it had to be done. I would do it. Is it the Monday morning blues? I hope not. I woke up real jazzed for this, so I hope it's not the Monday morning blues. Right, well, I think that's going to be it for me. So just as a reminder, do your best. Don't compare yourself to others. You know, do the best that you can do. It's about learning new things. And head to the hashtag, which is the Barmy Fox SAL. I would type it in, but it'll make the whole camera shake, and you guys might get sick. So you can find it in all of my posts. It's the Barmy Fox SAL. And if you have a minute, like at the end of the day before you go to bed or whilst you're waiting for your dinner to cook or something, go to the hashtag and give some people some likes, give some people some comments. You have no idea how encouraging it is when someone comments and says like, wow, I like what you've done with that, or wow, like your stitches look so neat, or just a little heart emoji or something. Like, people are so appreciative. So yeah, it really does mean a lot. I mean, not on mine, like do it on other people's. But okay, that's it for me. So today's just 1, 2, 3 flowers, detached chain stitch, and some straight stitches, and that's it. Yeah? Okay. I will talk with you tomorrow and in my stories today. So have a lovely Monday. I cannot wait for the month because we get to stitch together all month, and I'm so excited. So have a great, great Monday. Bye.